Hey everyone, it's Nancy. This is my day 17 video for Marion's 31-day challenge. I had a couple of people ask me how I made the cherub embellishment for my box and some other embellishments that I made, so I'm going to show you how I did it. I use one of two products to make my mold. I either use the Ranger mold and pour, which I really like, of course, because it's Ranger. But the only thing about the mold and pour is it comes in two really small, like only inch deep cups. They're really small, and so you don't get a lot. Out of one package, I can normally make about 4 molds that are smaller than this. So I can't make a whole lot of them. So the other product that I just got that I really like is Amazing Mold Putty. This box, you get a lot, and it's only like $3 more than the Ranger one. It brings 2 bottles like this. That's a whole big difference, because the Ranger one is like this big around, but it's only like that deep, so you don't get as much. I found this at Michael's, but I know that Hobby Lobby carries it, and probably Joann's too. If you use a coupon, you can get it for around $10, which is really great, especially if you want to make a lot of molds like I do, because I like to try to extend my embellishment. So for the cherub, I actually used the original item was a button, just a little vintage looking button, and I made a mold out of it so that I can, you know, cast and make as many as I want and whatever colors I want. Normally I like to cast them in like gold or pewter, and then I can color them whatever color I want using paints or whatever else. The metallic, like finger rub-ons, just any different things. So I'm going to show you how to make an embellishment. I have 3 that I've done today that are still kind of curing, but the next one I'm going to do is this little heart. It's Valentine's Day coming up, so I thought I'd make some heart embellishments. So of the putty, it comes with a part A and a part B, and what you need to do is basically take 2 equal parts of A and B. You don't have to weigh it, you can kind of eyeball it. Normally I'll take the 2 parts and I'll roll them into a ball in my hand like you're playing with Play-Doh, and then I sit them down, and once they've been sitting for a minute, like you can see, they'll start to flatten out and you can really tell that they're the same size. Or you can, you know, just eyeball it however you want to do it. So what you do is you take the 2 parts and you're going to mush them together like this. I'm going to try to move the camera so that you can see a little better, but you're just going to mush the 2 parts, and you only have about a minute to mix them. And basically what you do is just keep doing that until you basically have one solid color. So it'll be yellow, and you'll still be able to see a little bit of white, but not too much. So for the most part, just get it mixed, and you have to work fast because it'll start to harden on you once the 2 materials start combining their chemicals. So once I get it mostly mixed, I roll it into a ball, again just like with Play-Doh, and then I'll flatten it down just a little bit so that I know that my embellishment is going to fit in it. So then you just put the embellishment on top and press straight down into the putty roll and try to get it as even as you can all the way around. So there's this is going to harden. It takes 15 or 20 minutes, depends on where you live and your humidity and all that type stuff, but I'm going to show you the ones that I've done so far. I did this heart. Let me zoom this out just a little bit. But I did this heart as a pin, and so that's the mold of the pin. And then I did one of Tim's keyholes. And so there's the keyhole. And then I did a bingo game face. I got these are pins, so I only have one, and I'm not going to use this on anything, so by doing this I'm able to use it on other things. So again, it takes about 15 or 20 minutes for that to harden. I'm going to cut on my melting pot, and I already have some gold UT, some clear UT, and a little bit of flex. Flex will make them so that they're not real easily breakable. It's basically like adding some plastic or something to it, so you don't have to worry so much about whatever you made breaking. So I'm going to let this UT melt and let this mold that we just made harden, and I will be back in just a few minutes. Oh, look, real quick, let me just show you. When the mold isn't ready, if you push your fingernail in it, it takes the indent of your fingernail. See how my fingernail impression is in there? When they're dry and they're ready, it's going to reject that impression. So just, I just wanted to show you that. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so our mold is continuing to harden. I just checked it and it's not ready yet. So I'm going to show you how I pour them while we wait for that one to finish. We're going to start with the heart, and our UT is melted in the melting pot, and I'm just going to stir it a little bit to bring that gold color back out. And the UT only takes just a couple of minutes to harden inside the mold. So I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. Sorry about that. And I'm going to pour this UT into the heart. And you just want a steady stream of the UT coming out and filling the mold. So that's really all it takes. Now just set that to the side. It just takes a couple of minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and pour the bingo one. I like to, when I'm doing a big mold, I like to push my UT over to the side of my melting pot so that it pours more evenly and more of a steady stream. So I'm just going to pour this into the bingo mold. And just continue to pour it until it's all full. That's really quick. I'll move it over to the side, and I'm going to check our heart mold to see how it's doing. Okay, at this point you can see, let me move it. You can see here where I tested it earlier to see if it was ready, and how it took my fingernail mark. Now that shows you that it's not ready, but now when I push my finger into it, it really doesn't take my nail imprint that well. And I check it all around and see it goes in, but then it rejects it at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the heart out. And there's our mold of our heart. So at this point it's done, and I can pour my UD into the mold. And again, I'm just going to push my UD over in my melting pot. And then pour it directly into that mold. And I'm going to set that one to the side. What I love about this is you can take the embellishments that you have that you won't use and be able to use them. And, you know, make them as you need them, or make a whole bunch up, or, you know, however you want to do it. I'm going to pour the keyhole one. And this one I have to be a little careful because there is the middle part of the keyhole, and we don't want to cover that with the UT. Any part that is like excess over the edges or anything, I can just trim that off, so I'm not really worried about that. So I'm just going to pour the UT. And then let that sit for just a few minutes. And on the part that over poured, like around the edges, I can snip that off once it starts to harden. And I have just a little UT left in here. So I'm going to try to gather as much of it together so that I can figure out which mold I want to pour. I have enough to do a small one. So I'm probably going to pour this flower mold that I have. So I'm just going to push my melted UT down toward the spout part in the melting pot and pour that straight in there. And then that mold's done. Now these other ones are probably dry and hardened by now. So we're going to start taking them out. I'm going to zoom this back out. Okay. We'll start with the heart, which is the one that we cast the mold of a little while ago. And I'm just going to pop that out and look, the embellishment. And then this is the original. So now this heart that I wouldn't have used before, I can use it. And by touching the back side of the embellishment, you'll know that it's ready to pop out because it's hardened. Now be real careful. Don't stick your finger in this right after you do it because it's very, very hot. The UT is like over 300 degrees, so you don't want to stick your finger in that. So I'm just going to pop this out, and look, there's the bingo. You can see how it looks compared to the original. So again, now I can use this embellishment of this item that I wouldn't have typically used. Now you can go in with a dauber, whatever color dauber you want. We'll do silver. And I'm just going to put some silver paint on my finger and brush over the embellishment. Now it really looks more like the original. You can do this with any paints or finger rubs that you have, rub and buffs. But there's the original and there's the copy. So anyway, I hope that you try it and that you're able to copy some of your favorite embellishments so that you can use them. And if you try it, I'd really like to see what you make. Have a great day.